The important question down the road, who will build this hub if we do it globally? Is it going to be a consolidation of central banks, international bodies like IMF, BIS, private companies like SWIFT or others? So I'll stop here for now. Thank you.
So many important things raised in that.
I'ma keep the case clean, I won't shroud it in no love. Getting laced at the seams, turning powder into dust. I need space for my team, it's getting crowded in the club.
The IMF just confirmed that XRP and XLM are going to be at the forefront and integrated to the new financial system. So back in February, 3 weeks ago, I had shared this PDF and it was called Deep Liquidity Pools Common Settlement Asset XC Platform Utilizing XRP and XLM, right? So back 3 weeks ago, it was a PDF out of the Bank of International Settlements. It was from MIT here. And with MIT, there was this article. Let me pull it up, or this PDF, this kind of working paper, let's just say. And it's called the Multi-Currency Exchange and Contracting Platform. And I'm going to link this video in the bio here. And you can see that 3 weeks ago, we did this video speculating XRP and XLM being confirmed as part of this new XC kind of multi-currency exchange and contracting platform. Today, and you can even see on the IMF's website, the multi-currency exchange and contracting platform, Tobias Adrian, and then back here, you had it by Tobias Adrian as well too. And in here, it talked about everything that Ripple's been saying they're going to be solving within the past, 5 years that they've been kind of going on the scene, toting it around. And if we kind of go back to the video a bit, you can see right here. So Tobias Adrian, so authorized for distribution by Tobias Adrian, November 2022. And there was a bunch of people on the IMF, MIT for it. And as you can see on the IMF's website, you hear it right here. And then you see cross-border payments can be slow, expensive, and risky. They're intermediated by counterparties in different jurisdictions, which rely on costly trusted relationships that offset the lack of a common settlement asset, as well as common rules and governance. In this paper, we present a vision for a multilateral platform that can improve cross-border payments, as well as related foreign exchange transactions, risk sharing, and more generally, financial contracting. The approach is to leverage technological innovations for public policy objectives. A common ledger, smart contracts, and encryption offer significant gains to market efficiency, completeness, and access, as well as to transparency and transaction compliance costs and safety. This paper is a first step aiming to simulate further work in this space. And I could download this PDF here, but I already got it up. And it's funny because you can look up here and it's actually was kind of created in October 2022. This working paper on a multi-currency exchange and contracting platform. Tobias Adrian, same thing. IMF working paper describes research and progress by the authors here. And if we go down, right, then it said authorized for distribution, November 2022, same one that we covered in this video. And if we keep going, you can see that it has all the same verbiage in here as this new paper that was just released directly from the IMF called Trust Bridges and Money Flows, a digital marketplace to improve cross-border payments. You have Tobias Adrian right on there as well too as an author and an editor. The same one as this multi-currency exchange and contracting platform where they're talking about this new multilateral common shared distributed ledger and common settlement asset, right? But if I were to go and do edit and I were to do find and I were to look up XRP, right? Nothing. Ripple. Okay, so there was a citation, number 16 here, saying, for example, Stellar and Ripple. So if I go to 16, solutions that leverage stablecoins for fast and inexpensive cross-border payments have also grown recently. So nothing insinuating that it could be this common settlement asset. But this is very interesting that this is in here, the Banque de France, this automated market making kind of solution that they provided for foreign exchange markets, how they're outlining that here as well too, because there's this video that I found released from the World Economic Forum today. today, or actually it was yesterday, really kind of outlining they're going full-fledged public with everything right now. So to me, it really seems like things are gearing up rapidly and accelerating very fast. And a lot of people are saying, hey, 2025, 2027. I don't know, man. We're seeing stuff being publicly said, accelerating fast. And now today we got confirmation, like specifically labeled XRP Xlm for everything that we've been saying for a while now. And if you like what you're hearing, you want to kind of get updated with more videos like this throughout this week, definitely subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we're going to be chopping up a ton of videos. Because I was out last week. I was in Florida getting sun-kissed, feeling pretty relaxed, feeling pretty chill. And I was doing a little kind of scuba diving, got the gear on, and I found these kind of connections here. And it kind of blew me away as far as like, it really made me want to load up, even kind of just go all in a sense, into XRP Xlm, because there's been too many documents. I mean, I'm even looking right here and we see another one that outlines Ripple. So yeah, to me, after you watch this video, you're going to be kind of seeing the same things and feeling the same things that I'm feeling here. So let's go. And so I looked up Ripple, I looked up XRP. Let me look up XLM. Nothing but XLM. Let me look up Stellar. It's probably only that one that we just found. So now let's go to this new document, and it's trust bridges and money flows. And this came out today. And here it is. Well, actually, let me read the summary. Cross-border payments are expensive, slow, and opaque. These problems reflect multiple frictions, many of which boil down to limited trust among counterparties. Trust plays a central role in exchanging credit-based money. End users need to trust the issuers of the money, and the issuers must trust users to satisfy financial integrity requirements. Transactions are possible only where trust links exist. Interoperability between different forms of money can thus be conceptualized as the network of trusted links necessary for transactions. Traditionally, across borders, trust links involve exclusive bilateral credit relationships among correspondent banks. However, the fixed costs required to build these links foster an expensive and concentrated system. This paper interprets different payment arrangements in terms of the implied trust structures. It discusses how the tokenization of money alters trust links and allows for a potentially more efficient market structure to exchange money. The paper ends with a suggested global marketplace to trade tokenized money directly across borders. As you can see, 2023. March 3rd, 2023. It's the 4th right now. It's 7:10 a.m. 37 pages in here. So I'm going to pull it up. And now, if we go down, same guy, Tobias Adrian. Let me see if there's anybody else that was involved in this kind of on this new document. So Townsend, Zhang, Grafoli, Grinberg, Townsend, Zhang, Grafoli. So everybody different besides Tobias Adrian. Tobias Adrian at the front here, Tobias Adrian at the front here. So he's obviously leading the charge on this. And if we go to now the document, now ready, watch this. Now I'm going to type XRP in. So now we got two. And now there's a glossary, right? And let's just kind of roll through the glossary real quick. Anti-money laundering, combating financing of terrorism. It's funny because this video I'm going to show you that was just released by the World Economic Forum talking about CBDCs and basically everything that I'm talking about here. All these things they outlined in it, and they really spelled it out as far as what the future holds ahead and how big this is. Bank of International Settlements, CBDCs, central counterparty, correspondent banking relationships, DeFi, IOU, promissory note or loan agreement, Khmer Real, I'm not sure what that is, liquidity pool, real-time gross settlement, USD coin, XRP, crypto asset by Ripple. Now they're laying it out. So you gotta watch this video that I did, Deep Liquidity Pools, Common Settlement Asset, XC Platform utilizing XRP Xlm. I just showed you how it wasn't saying it before. We speculated, and now it seems like we're getting confirmation here straight out of the horse's mouth. So things are spicing up. I'm loving to seeing this now because you never would have saw before, just publicly, just straight out there, kind of, thrown in your face as far as, confirmed. So let's now go to number 2. And now when we see number 2, we see here, it was at page number 26 out of 38. 3 models arise. A private settlement asset and marketplace such as Ripple's XRP. Private settlement asset and marketplace. So we're talking about the EQ to mark. And now we have a whole private kind of marketplace to exchange it digitally and securely, transparently. It's just truly insane times as far as the opportunity, and kind of realizing that this problem that's being solved currently by Ripple and XRP serving as that trust bridge, serving as that money flow. We're talking about solving hundreds of years problem, thousands of years problems. And there's so many documents straight out of ACB, straight out of the Bank of England, saying that it's the holy grail of cross-border payments and that it will be conceptualized and executed on within this decade. And so truly kind of life-changing as far as what's about to happen here. But as we go down, they label out more examples. An open place source marketplace such as Stellar Foundations, right? So, I mean, to not own both is just madness. We see both in every single document here by the biggest institutions. So, but let's break it down though, because there are some risks and there are some opportunities here. So a private settlement asset in our marketplace for Ripple XRP. We've always said wholesale CBDCs are for Ripple and XRP. We're getting confirmation again of that. And XRP was designed for financial institutions. So the risks arise as far as, okay, as a, just an individual, can we own it? Right? This has always been a topic of discussion. But how can we protect ourselves? Now we should start talking about how we can protect ourselves in the event of that. And there's definitely ways to do it. And we're going to be talking to some people in the community about making some videos for us as far as that. But so the risk is that, but the opportunity is, I mean, come on, like the biggest institutions in the world are going to be transacting this as a private settlement asset. In the videos that I'm going to share out later this week, as far as clips from the World Economic Forum interview, like they labeled basically XRP Xlm as a multi-currency. And that's what it is. It's like when you own XRP, you own all the currencies. When you own XLM, you own all the currencies. And basically you're going to be able to own, honestly, any asset, anything of value that will be digitized and tokenized and put on the blockchain. And you'll be able to convert straight into it with the likes of Interledger or Interstellar. And it's truly crazy times and how big this opportunity is. We're talking about the flow, the money flow, and the trust bridge of all the money. And they're kind of confirming it right here. But DeFi networks and a marketplace and settlement asset based on unbacked crypto assets. So after they label XRP and XLM as an unbacked, they label those as like, the creme de la creme. Then they go into, or there's other marketplaces and settlement assets based on unbacked crypto assets such as Strike, which leverages Bitcoin, the Lightning Network. So we're seeing the same verbiage, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're cryptocurrencies, unbacked crypto assets. Whereas it seems like XRP, XLM are going to be these global multi-currencies. XRP designed specifically for institutions and XLM specifically designed for retail. And I believe that it would probably be a scenario where, Ripple's on the back end with the Federal Reserve type or the central bank type highest level of institutions, kind of their back ends and their money movement, and cross currency exchange. And then you have like Stellar XLM partnering with like the PayPal's, partnering with like the banks, because they'll be like this 2-tiered system, and XLM and Stellar will be partnered with them, like the MoneyGrams, and they'll be USDC on top of Stellar, and then they'll give it kind of like what they're doing in Ukraine with Stellar Aid. We're seeing it unfold before it actually unfolds, if you know what I mean. So I believe we're in the right coins. Life-changing coins, to be honest, and I'm even debating on rolling in more into them from the other coins, because even though we kind of consolidated back a little bit ago, maybe 2 weeks ago or last week, when you come across stuff like this, it kind of reminds you, hey, I mean, these two coins are at the highest level. They're getting the blessings before getting the public blessings, and basically they're going to be moving all the money at the individual level, all the money at the institutional level, and nothing can compare to that in kind of total addressable market, and just like kind of the gain that can ultimately come from a utility / regulated run here in the crypto market and kind of this new asset class. So yeah, definitely debating that, although I am obviously heavily stacked up XRP, XLM, top 2, of course. But I mean, I wouldn't mind getting a little more of it for the big boom, especially with so many things like you have the Ripple lawyer kind of insinuating, oh, it could even end, the case could end by the end of this month. And then you have just a ton of CBDC pilots ready to launch. Then you have ISO Big Bang in March, ISO Big Bang in November, and then Fed Now launching. You have all these kind of pilots wrapping up. Then you have stuff like this dropping straight out of IMF, signaling out certain coins now by their name. You start to realize how close to the moment you are, right? And yeah, so I can't wait to show you the other videos as well too. I wanted to keep it to this document because this is big alone, but wait until you see the video coming straight from their mouths on video. Really kind of, you put two and two together and it's like set in stone. So as you can see, now they're basically calling it out, and I want to actually go to the conclusion and read this off and see what they're saying here. Conclusions: modern forms of money depends on credit relationships that require trust. Difficulties associated with making cross-border payments can be better understood by factoring in the importance of these trust relationships, which can be particularly difficult to establish and maintain between counterparties located in developing economies. Within countries, central banks act as a trust-enhancing mechanisms across market participants by eliminating the need to maintain costly bilateral trust relationships. This is done by providing a common settlement asset and common settlement platform. In cross-border payments, a common settlement asset or common settlement platform does not exist because different countries use different currencies and have different banking systems. In this environment, bilateral credit relationships between transacting parties become essential. But these relationships are typically scarce and costly. Central banks can and have intervened by providing liquidity through swap lines, but bilateral trust relationships between central banks that are necessary for the creation of swap lines are often missing. This paper offers two possible improvements for cross-border payments. First, there is a possibility of a global clearinghouse that eliminates the need for a complete set of bilateral trust relationships. However, various practical hurdles may arise, such as obtaining political backing to mutualize risk from swap lines. And then second, this paper advances a more promising model for a marketplace to trade tokenized money directly across borders. A shift toward digital money may reduce the need for bilateral trust relationships and foster more efficient competitive market making. But the proposal must be further discussed, including to explore more models to enhance market liquidity and establish sound governance. Boom, right there. So that was conclusions from what they're talking about with the liquidity, and they're talking about USDC there as well too in this formula. But then right before it, they were talking about XRP and XLM. And if we kind of go up here, kind of see what this section was all about. So they're talking about the interoperability aspect and talking about the cross-country marketplace model with tokenized money. And yeah, like if we go down, we've seen so many things with Interledger being at the center of all this. We've also seen kind of all the documents in the past and kind of all the interviews in the past as well too. And kind of comparing those to the current present day interviews in these documents, it's been planned for a while here. But in short, the setup solves the two criteria initially identified by interoperability, a common trust and an infrastructure network. And let me go up and see kind of what they were talking about with that. So they're talking about that common settlement asset in here. And as you go down, so they're talking about a new model. They're talking about these common settlement assets that go from one currency to the other currency in real time. Then at the bottom, they give the solutions. They talk about XRP and XLM. It's set in stone here. And it's been talked and kind of speculated on for a while now. And you're just seeing the proof kind of just laid out like this. So then, yeah, they get into the three models and they lay it out right there. And to me, the most kind of logical model they'll go with is the first one, the private settlement asset with Ripple XRP, then the open source marketplace with Stellar. And that's like open permissionless kind of marketplace through Stellar, and then a permissioned marketplace with the private settlement asset for Ripple XRP, and then like liquidity hub. Wait until I show you the other video here, and basically actually I showed a little clip at the beginning, and they talk about this hub and who would control it. Would it be a small group of central banks together, or would it be what was the other one, like kind of the IMF or the BIS, or will it be a private institution or the private sector, someone like a Swift or someone like and others, he said. And it seemed like he wanted to say Ripple XRP. So let's go into a couple more things, because you also had this coming out of the IMF this tweet, it's time to rethink monetary policy's foundation and framework, from the Bank of Japan former governor. And in there, he says, time for a change. It's time to rethink the foundation and framework of monetary policy. He goes into a story talking about in 2018, Queen Elizabeth, and talking about the global financial crisis. And then if we go down here, he's talking about rethinking the framework. And he highlights that the 3 issues that should be taken into account about doing an update to the monetary policy framework accordingly. He talks about interest rates. He agreed with Paul Volcker in the 70s, early 80s. And then if we go down here, it talks about national differences. And in here it says, finally, we must pay attention on national differences in the way each country designs its framework for monetary policy. And that's the biggest thing that they're coming across right now. It's not the technological solution. It's there. It's kind of getting their ducks in a row on the political kind of front and economic front for all these countries to kind of be able to do this all in tandem. So, and then you even add this, new directions for monetary policy 2023, just finance and development. I'm just seeing this here. But basically he's saying, even in a global, no. So the anchor for a currency, if there ever is one, can be established only through a firm commitment by the central bank to restrain inflation by monetary tightening and to be the lender of last resort, not by a simple act of setting an inflation target. Inflation targeting itself was an innovation that came up in the response to severe stagflation in the 1970s and early 1980s. There's no reason to believe it is set in stone. Now that we know its limitations, the time is ripe to reconsider the intellectual foundation on which we've relied for the past 30 years and renew our framework for monetary policy. Boom, right there. So yeah, right on the line. And that was, just the other day, March 3rd, yesterday. Then lastly, let's kind of revisit September 2022. Same man's here. And I believe this is the same dude that was on this one. Yep. Tommaso Mancini Grifoli. Bullet Train, Tobias Adrian, Tommaso Mancini Grifoli. This was September 2022, 6 minutes. So new tokens and platforms may transform cross-border payments and potentially much more. It's talking about this. Once upon a time, there was money. Don't tell me it goes back to the way back. So there was money. What is money? It's essentially an IOU, a promise to pay made by one party, like a bank, to another, like the holder of a savings or a checking account. And that's what they kind of laid out in this as well here too, in that glossary. So IOU. So same verbiage they're talking about in September. They're talking about October, November. And now we're seeing it kind of circle back in March. So let me keep going here. So let's go down. A radical transformation. Things could change as money becomes tokenized, that it is accessible to anyone with the right private key and transferable to anyone with access to the same network. Example of tokenized money includes so-called stable coins such as USD coin, CBDC. Talks about kind of Nigeria's and Bahamas launch with that. Then if we go down, it talks about a digital platform. So let's see. So it's talking about moving money to a single ledger. Think of that as it's taking in different monies, putting them in a basket, everyone recognized, seamlessly exchanging those baskets between participants and across borders. So doing so could be extremely powerful. The platform's ledger could be leveraged to write so-called smart contracts, which are essentially programmable transactions. So let's keep going. The possibilities are infinite, and that is precisely the point. The private sector would be able to extend the uses of the platform by writing smart contracts. It would do so by leveraging 2 key public goods, a common settlement platform and common programming language to write smart contracts that are compatible with one another. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be ILP Java, and I'll prove that to you in a moment here. But a common settlement platform and common programming language to write smart contracts that are compatible with one another. So the platform would emerge as a tight public-private partnership. The challenge would be to find the right governance arrangements, just like he was outlining in the beginning of this video, and to mobilize a sufficient number of central banks to pull this off. The IMF, with its near universal membership, is a good place to start exploring these prospects. So we will soon publish 2 papers on these topics, and that's what we saw earlier on, the one with MIT. The papers will lay out an initial blueprint for such platforms, and the hope is stimulating further discussion on the topics, which are likely to shape the future of cross-border payments. Much remains to be explored, debated, and eventually done. The effort is certainly worth it, if anything, to avoid embarrassing questions about what happens today behind the cloak of bilateral handshakes. Okay. That's definitely weird, but that's just, it's kind of going back in time, seeing how the stepping stones were placed. And it seems like, so we had the first one, this one, so 2 papers. And then I'm trying to see, maybe this is the follow-up paper to that. I think it might be. I think it is. So there we go. We just saw it all play out in kind of this 3-step tandem here. And now we kind of know what the kind of vision is. We know how big it is as far as what this problem that it could solve. And we know that who's going to kind of be involved with it and be integral to it, which is Xrp Xlm. And we now have definitive things, and we kind of, it's set in stone. XRPs for wholesale, XLMs for retail. And kind of now we need to develop the risks and opportunities as far as that, and kind of the course of action for protective measures, but as well as kind of how can we maximize the opportunity to the fullest potential here. So yeah, I'm going to leave it off at that, because we're on the bullet train, baby. You can see things are going faster, and really kind of consider to, if you think that, you're not in XRP Xlm, it's going to drop down more. I mean, after seeing a document like this, personally for myself, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, I don't, even if it were to drop, I don't care, because I know it's on the horizon, and things are getting very, very nice and being spelled right out for us. And we're getting more confirmations as to kind of what we already know. So definitely subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to be updating clips from the interview that just broke today from the World Economic Forum talking about CBDCs, and kind of pairs along with what we read today with the IMF. So I'll see you guys in the next video.